Hey everyone, this is Camfree15 back with another video. Now, another video I was gonna make early today. I might make it after this video, but I think I might just delay that video for a few more days and stuff like that because now finally the NFL season will be back starting tomorrow night. And as you can see in the thumbnail, and really the video title, this is it. We are finally back with some football for the Chicago Bears. And it's going to be, I think, a very good year. Now, this is the season preview. I'm going to go through all the games we have on our schedule and predict our, I predict our how our record. I'm sorry, but predict that, and also go into a little game preview with what to expect for tomorrow's game against the Packers. So, if you're a Bears fan, leave a like in the video, hit that subscribe button if you want more Chicago Bears content, whether it's, team updates or, just game recaps. I was thinking of doing previews. I might actually do game previews and stuff like that. So, I might, see how this goes. And if I'm feeling like, doing game previews, then I'll be doing game previews and stuff like that. But more than definitely, after every Chicago Bears game, I will be doing a game recap and discussing basically what I liked watching from the game, what I didn't like watching the game, and based on the outcome, what do I feel like the Bears need to improve on going forward into the season. So here we go. Coming off a very enjoyable, fun, and I have to say a season that, Bears fans, with the exception of the last ending to our, campaign of last year, it was probably one of the most enjoyable times to been a Bears fan in a long time. In all my years of being a Bears fan, I never had this much fun watching that team last year, because there was something about the team that, it had its swag back. It had the defense back. It had those monsters. We know the monsters in the midway were back in business. And we took over the NFC North and asserted our dominance, not only amongst, the NFC North as a whole, the NFC, and as well, to an extent, the entire NFL, to make it put on notice that, we're still young, but we're on the come up, and we're only going to get better as, we play and, this team gets more, situated. And, I have to give a hands up, a well job done to Matt Nagy in his first year as our head coach. He did great things with us. And also, the now Denver Broncos head coach, Vic Fangio, could not be said more than enough. And, best of luck of him in Denver. And hopefully he does good with that team. I would love to still have him, but hey, it's business. So, yeah. So coming off a 12-4 season, where we went to the wild card game, but sadly lost to a double doink thanks to Cody Parkey. That was one of my lowest moments as a Bears fan when that double doink hit, and I there's without a doubt, I had a feeling in my heart that if we had beaten the Eagles, I think we would have went all the way to the Super Bowl. And, I think even if we didn't, we probably would have went to the NFC Championship game. And, that would have been a huge improvement. But I was really confident that if we had beaten the Eagles, we would have actually went to the Super Bowl. I really felt like we were actually able to take on the Rams again, even if it was in LA. But I feel like, the same. I feel like, the Rams are a good team, but I feel if you can do some things to shut the Rams or slow the Rams down, you can beat them. And then we would have had to face the Saints in the Superdome. Personally, it's my opinion only, but I think the Bears are the only complete team that could have went up in the Superdome and beat him. And if for people saying, but the Rams did that, they did that due to a technicality, thanks to the refs. If it wasn't for the refs, the Saints win that game and they go to the Super Bowl, and they might have ended up winning it all last year. But I really did feel like the Bears had what it took to be in the Super Bowl of last year. So, and from what I saw this schedule, it's going to be a tougher schedule. But, I still have that confidence in myself that, we can do this. I always say, it's always good to get a high seed so we can get home field advantage for the playoffs. But the number one thing is we got to take care of business, and that's the regular season. One thing we got to do, especially starting tomorrow, we got to beat our division rivals. If we want to have basically a guaranteed shot at getting to the playoffs, we got to win the division. So we got to take out teams like the Packers, the Vikings, and the Lions. Now the Lions, I'm not too worried about. The Vikings, I feel like we're the slightly of the better of the Vikings. I have a friend who is a Vikings fan, and I say we have the better defense than the Vikings. I say we have the better overall defense than the Vikings, a more complete defense than the Vikings. Our offense is still decent enough to put points on the board and stuff like that. And, the one team, all Bears fans, question and in some cases fear, but really one man fear is Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. I think if we can do what we did, last year with them, and at least take one game against the Packers this year and make sure, we don't lose grounding in the NFC North, we can easily win this division just as good as we won last year. If, like I said, we can win the division again if, say, what happens last year with the division. We beat the Vikings 2 times, we beat the Lions 2 times, and we just split with the Packers. But I definitely would love to sweep the Packers this year. I think more as a whole, and I'll get that to my game preview, that why I think the Bears are not significantly, but really a more complete team than the Packers are. So anyways, this is going to be big year. It's going to be a test for our team, and the fact that we have a team that can compete for a Super Bowl, it can be, great for us. So I'm going to run through the schedule of what we have, and our first game obviously is tomorrow night against the Green Bay Packers. I can easily see that game as a win. I would actually be shocked if we lost at home, but we should win that since we have our home field advantage, and home got crazy. Week 2 we play Denver. That should be another win. It's going to be tough because the defense, especially with Vic Fangio being our former defensive coordinator, he'll know some tendencies how to affect our offense. Then week 3, we are on prime time again on Monday night against Washington. Now, we should beat Washington, no doubt. It's one of those games that you have to we walk in, and you should be feeling confident that we can win this game. Next, we have another divisional opponent in the Minnesota Vikings at home. Another key game. It's going to be another tough game because the Vikings are probably going to want vengeance, especially for what we did to them in Week 17 by basically beating them with our second stringers. But, we're going to have to just, play our game and beat them. I think it's another winnable game. So if we win the first 4 games, we could be looking at 4-0. So then going into Week 5, we'll be on another nationally televised game in London against the Raiders. That's another game that should be winnable, and it's like against the games that the games last year that were obvious wins that should be wins. We should beat the Oakland Raiders, even though they do have the addition of Antonio Brown. I still think uh, our defense is better than really one guy. You know, like I said, it's still going to be a tough game to win, but I think that's a game where we know we can lock up and win. So, like I said, we could go into a bye week, you know, 5-0. There's a chance we could go into a bye week 5-0. But if we lose one of those games, but win all the other ones, we could be 4-1, which is great position, a great position. So, like I said, yeah, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, and week 6 is our bye week. Now, this is probably going to be the toughest stretch, and I know there's going to be a lot of critics out there against the Bears, because the one thing last year that was a huge thing was, you know, people said the Bears never went up against good competition, tough competition. I still think, regardless of the competition, you know, it's still a hard to win football games in the NFL, even if they are gimme games. Look at us. Look last year. We lost gimme games that we should have won, like to teams against, you know, the Dolphins. And that really impacted us in the future of the season. I'm forgetting another team that we should have beat, but we didn't beat. But, you know, I can also look that up right now, actually. Um, hmm, 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 hmm. Oh yes, the New York Giants, when we lost to the New York Giants. Those two games, if you talk to me from if you talk to me now, I thought the Dolphins and the Giants games were two key losses that should have never happened. Because one, we would have had a better overall seeding for the playoffs, and there would have been an actually chance. When I did it up all the time last year, if we had won those two games, we might have actually had the first seed in the playoffs. So, like I said, these key games matter, or the give me games win or matter. So teams like the Raiders, the Redskins, the Broncos, not to say, you know, they're not like one of the worst teams in the league, but from what they did last year, you know, it should be wins that we need to get. We can't have one of these, and this is really my key for this season, is the Bears need to not lose games that they should win. That Monday night game against the Redskins, I don't care if it's against the Redskins. That team is a beatable team, and it should be an easy beatable team. They're a team that's basically not projected to do well. You know, we'll see if that, but I know the Bears can rise up to shine against, you know, Washington. Even Denver. You know, Denver, you know, their defense can be threatening. I'm just not that, you know, afraid of their offense to do something. And I know they have Joe Flacco, but Joe Flacco has done what in the past 5 years? And really, since he's won the Super Bowl. He hasn't done nothing with the Baltimore Ravens, who actually had a good defense, who's had, like, a really good defense like the Denver Broncos. And even, you know, to some extent, even a better, capable offense than the Denver Broncos do now. And then the Raiders in London, that should be a win. You know, their defense is not that good, really, and their offense is really kind of centered around one guy in Antonio Brown. So that should be winnable games. So now week 7, you know, this is going to be a tough test, and this is the game where, you know, I said we could have walked in to the Superdome and beat them, and that's the New Orleans Saints. You know, I think it's going to be a tough game. You know, we're going to really have to get some pressure on Drew Brees and limit what Michael Thomas can do. You know, I'm never opposed, and also Alvin Kamara. I'm always never opposed of saying try to shut them down, but at least you can slow down offensive players, you can get a win. Now that's in Chicago. So, you know, like I said, that's literally end of October, so that's when you know, it could get a little bit more chillier there, so that can have play a little bit of, you know, an impact to a dome team. Don't underestimate cold weather, you know, places. We saw it with the Rams last year when they came to Chicago in that cold weather. They were literally freezing on the sidelines and freezing on the field, as opposed to our guys who are used to that stuff. Then week 8, we play this Los Angeles Chargers in Chicago. Even though the Chargers are still a very good team and they're not a team not to underestimate, I think that's another game that we can win. If you're asking me personally about the Saints game as well, I could see us losing that game. And if we do lose that game, I think that's fine. But the Chargers game, I can see us beating the Chargers. Like I said, it's another warm weather team coming over to, a cold weather city. And, temperatures could get cold. Now, that is a 1 o'clock game as opposed to the Saints game, which is a 4:25 game. So then next up, we have the revenge game, and one of the revenge games on the schedule that I want, and that is the Philadelphia Eagles. I wish we played them in Chicago because I'd rather have them come back to us and really prove it to us that they can win. But this will be the first time we'll actually go. Well, the second time overall we played Carson Wentz, but the second time, you know, really in the past 2 years we went back to Lincoln Financial Field, and I feel like this is going to be a statement game for week 9. And if I'm one of those Bears players, I know I mark this date on my calendar, November 3rd, because if you ask me, I don't care what anybody says, and even despite the Cody Parkey miss, I still say to this day, the Eagles escaped with a win from Soldier Field. If Cody Parkey had missed that kick, they would have been the ones going home. I don't care if you're an Eagles fan or just an NFL fan in general. You cannot lie to me saying that you guys escaped by the skin of your teeth. Because Trubisky and the offense put us in field goal range to win us that game. Our kicker didn't hold up our end of the bargain. So, like I said, I know every Bears has this date scheduled on their calendar. And, they want that game. I can see us winning that game, even though it's going to be a really tough game in Philadelphia. I can see us winning that game as, that payback game, that get back for that loss, that disgusting loss. And I know if we beat the Eagles, if we beat the Eagles, that will do wonders for our confidence, because I think at the end of the day, you can ask every Bears member on that team last year in the wild card game. We had the Eagles. We were going to beat them. And our kicker didn't hold his end of the bargain up. So I actually, more than likely, I can either see this going as a loss or a win. Either way, it's one of my revenge games that I marked down on my schedule that I want back. A team that we know we could beat, but, we didn't. Now, Carson Wentz is playing for them, and they do have additions like Deshaun Jackson. So it's going to be a tougher Eagles team than last year's team. I still think if we can, try to get pressure on Carson Wentz, make him force him into bad throws like we did with Nick Foles last year, we can come out of this game. And as well as Trubisky is making good plays, and we're scoring on offense, I think we can win this game. Next up, Week 10, we got the Detroit Lions. Detroit, it's another game that we should win. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. If we lose to Detroit, I'll actually be pretty disappointed. Detroit made some additions on offense, but, really, let's, try to beat them. The last two games, they were close games. Like, I know the first game we played in Chicago, they brought it to a point where we almost kind of blew it, and on Thanksgiving Day we beat them with Chase Daniels, and I hate to say escaped by the skin of our teeth, and I was actually pretty upset. We do play Detroit on Thanksgiving Day, which is my birthday, so hopefully when I'll get to that and talk about that. Then we get another NBC primetime game, basically opposite of, last year. This time we go to LA to play the Rams on November 17th in week 11. I really thought we were going to play the Rams, and this could have been the playoff game we could have possibly got last year. Now, with me in the Rams, I see the Rams like this. The Rams are a good team. They're defensively good. Offensively, they're good. But I think like we did last year, if we can limit Todd Gurley to, little carries to where they have to make Jared Goff throw the ball, and we get pressure on him like we did last year, we can win that game. Um, Jared Goff, I think, is a good quarterback, but I think he's more of a system quarterback than, just great quarterback of all time. I feel like Sean McVay's system just suits him better than Jeff Fisher's. And if you feel like, oh, I'm just doubting him, just go look back when he was on with Jeff Fisher. Jeff Fisher was a terrible coach, but look at him. If he was so good like he is now, he would have put up numbers even with Jeff Fisher as his, head coach. So I think that's another game I can see us winning. We could also lose that game too. You know, this is around Thanksgiving time, so I could try to make it out early, leave Connecticut early to try to see that game because it is a nighttime game. But we'll see. We'll see. Now, another revenge game that I want, and this was the game that I thought we should have won, and that is against the New York Giants. This is another one of those games where it don't matter. We need to win this game. And I put this marked on my calendar because, like I said, I'm here in Connecticut in school. You understand the Giant fans that came up to me and started talking crap on me because we lost. We had the miraculous comeback to force the game into overtime, but we ended up losing that game. And that was mostly because, really, Odell, who's not with the Giants now, and Saquon Barkley was really the only two players that carried them that game. Now, I think it's another game where the Bears players have that marked on their schedule where they're like, we're not going to lose to this team again. I think in order to beat the Giants, you have to limit Saquon Barkley. Don't let Saquon Barkley get the big run, the big play, stuff like that. We do play in Chicago this time, and I think that will give us the edge. I think that will give us a better edge. We should beat the Giants. I'm going to be shocked if we lose to them again. Then Thanksgiving Day, we play Detroit again. I don't know why we have to play Detroit on Thanksgiving Day again for the second straight year. But okay, if they want another Thanksgiving Day beating, we'll give them another Thanksgiving Day beating. That's all I'm going to say. Hopefully they win because that's my actual birthday, November 28th. That's week 13. So hopefully they win that game. Then we have another primetime game on Thursday, and that is the Dallas Cowboys versus us. Now Dallas just signed, Ezekiel Elliott. I was really kind of hoping he didn't sign because, it would have taken away a huge part of their game away. But regardless, I in my opinion, the Dallas Cowboys are a decent to average team at best. It depends. I say in order to win this game, like this Giants game, limit Ezekiel Elliott to what he can do best. As long as we don't give up big runs and we gang tackle on Ezekiel Elliott, we can win. And we have to force Dak to throw. Also, by that time, that's December time. So that's very cold conditions. And I know Dallas plays in, Philadelphia, which can get cold, as well as New York, if they play them late in the year. But let's be honest, Chicago's a much colder place than Philadelphia and New York combined. So I can see us winning that game. Actually, I can see us beat. I can see it being a very close, game. But I can see us winning. Now, then, we go play the Green Bay Packers and we play them in Lambeau. Now, to be honest, I would love to get this game back from what happened last year, but if we do end up losing, I will have no problems. Now, depending on the Packers' schedule, I will have a problem if we do lose this game. So either way, we can lose this game. Then again, we get another primetime game for Week 16 against the Kansas City Chiefs, against Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. This is one of the games where, like I said, it's another one of those games I could see us losing. Really, it's one of those games I could see us losing. And would I be bothered by losing? From what I'm kind of predicting our record to be, I wouldn't be bothered by losing, but I would also like to take a win against the Chiefs. Because if we do beat the Chiefs, I think that's when, teams in the league might have to, really, as gearing for the playoffs, really start to be like, okay, okay, the Bears are for real this year. And then our last game, like last year, against the Minnesota Vikings. We walked up in there last year and beat them with basically us not trying to really do much and win, but we wanted to win. We could win again in Minnesota. Um, you know, like I said, it's gonna be one of those tough games that will be hard to win and stuff like that. But going through the overall schedule, my record, you know, prediction is, for week 1, I got us beating the Packers. Week 2, I got us beating the Denver Broncos. Week 3, I got us beating the Washington Redskins. Week 4, to be honest, I got us beating, Minnesota at home. And then week five, I got us beating the Raiders. So by the bye week, we could go 5-0. So if we go 5-0, that would actually be very huge and a very much improvement. Then us playing the Saints. If I'm gonna be honest, even if it is in Chicago, I could see us losing this game. I could see us losing this game. To be honest, um, you know, if I'm thinking about it, I'll give us a loss. So that would put us at 5-1. As much as I have confidence in beating the Saints, I don't know. It's a toss 'em up. I don't. Like I said, it's that middle thing where I could see us winning, but I could see us losing. So I'll put the Saints game as a loss for now, till we play them. Then we play the Chargers. I could see us beating the Chargers, which would put us to 6-1. Philadelphia, in Philadelphia, I could personally see us losing that game too. So I'll mark a loss on that, even though it's a revenge game. So that would put us at 6-2. Detroit, I say we win that, so we can move up to 7-2. The Rams, I'm gonna be honest. I actually see us beating the Rams. I think we honestly have the Rams number. It's simple. Limit the offense to what they can do. Limit Todd Gurley to what he can do, and stuff like that, and just get pressure on Jared Goff. I think we can win that game. So that would put us at 8-2. Then we play the Giants. Beatable team. We should win that game. Should get us to 9-2. Detroit. We should be at 10-2 after Thanksgiving break. The Cowboys. It's a game I could see losing, but I personally see more. I personally see us winning that game. I personally see us winning that game. I think we are a better overall team than the Cowboys. And, I think we can do much more damage to the Cowboys defense than the Cowboys offense can do to our defense. So that would put us to 11-2. Green Bay, I could see us losing that game. So we could go down and lose. So if we lose that game, we would be 11-3. Now Kansas City, like I said, week 16, I could see us losing that game, and I could slightly see us winning that game. So if we lose that game, we would drop down to 11-4. And then Minnesota, just to do the thing, I could see us winning that game. I personally can, because the Bears won't win. So the overall thing it'd be a record of last year, 12-4. Now, one of those games I was debating on what I would put, but if there was one of those games, my prediction goes right, and we say win one extra game, we would be 13-3. I would take that. That is one loss and one win better. But overall than that, I see us making the playoffs as a whole, and regardless, I still see us having a very good record and us winning the division again for the second straight year. Now that's all based on what the Vikings and the Packers do, and you can call me crazy as a Bears fan saying I'm being too favoritism and stuff like that, and you're being highly unreasonable that the Bears can have a possible another 12-4 season. But like I said, I can see it for this team. my keys for this year is, defense, don't let up. Don't let up against these lesser known teams. And Trubisky, offense, or really the offense, and slightly Trubisky, for Trubisky's case, don't turn the ball over too much. So don't have like none of those 2 to 3 interception games. 1 interception, okay, I'm fine with that. But 2 to 3, no, keep those on the down low. And don't fumble either. And also make sure he is really, really, and make sure healthy too. Um, that's a key thing for the season. Now I will say, if injuries start to pile up on this team, then I will say otherwise is for a record. Because after watching enough preseason, our backups, I just did not like what I saw from the backups in the preseason. Like, I feel like if we get piled up with injuries, that could be end up for the worst, and we could actually have a down year because of injuries. And I'm not a fan of my teams having injuries that can derail a season, and stuff like that. Now, as for playoffs, I won't predict playoffs, not right now. If the Bears end up making the playoffs for this upcoming season, then I will do a playoff prediction bracket and stuff like that, where I think the Bears will go as far as they will go and stuff like that. But going back to the offense, put up points when we need to put up points at you know, times of opportunities. If we pick a interception, we get an interception and we recover a fumble, we need to score on those drives. After we get the turnovers, getting points off turnovers is key for winning ball games and stuff like that, as well as limiting our turnovers. And also, Trubisky, do take what the defense is giving you. I know Nagy has always said he would like to see him be more aggressive and stuff like that. I'm opposed to being aggressive when the time is to be aggressive. But I would like not to see Trubisky force things and get picked off and stuff like that. I just would like Trubisky to be just a quarterback that takes what the defense is giving him, and as well as taking that next step. In my opinion, I think this is a very big year for Mitchell Trubisky, to see if really is he going to be the franchise quarterback of this team. Because if he can't step up to the plate and get us back to the playoffs and even go farther than a wild card game, we'll find out the jury on Mitch Trubisky. I think he's improving slowly as he goes on, as he plays on every game. And I think, to be honest, I think he gets undeserved hate. As yeah, I really do think he does get undersized hate. The fact that people think he's one of the worst quarterbacks in the league, but really he's actually a pretty decent enough quarterback to have a team around. And if he can have those games where he excels in his play, that will be really good for this, not only the Bears, but the offense and the team as a whole, and that's even better. So I'm holding Mr. Trubisky to a huge standard, because this is the year where I'm going to say, okay, are you our franchise quarterback? So we don't have to go back and go back to having wasted years on a great defense, and we don't have that quarterback to take us to the playoffs and even to the promised land and win it all for us. The Bears are one of my teams that I really do like. That I feel like we are slightly a few pieces away, but I still think this team is good enough to win the Super Bowl, even with Mitchell Trubisky. And I know that's some crazy talk, but at the end of the day, I really do feel like this team can win a Super Bowl, even if it is with Mitch Trubisky. Back in 2006, if we made it to the Super Bowl with Rex Grossman, we should be able to make it to the playoffs of the Super Bowl with Mitch Trubisky. It's definitely tougher than it was back in '06, but it's still a possible and doable schedule. Now, I've had some friends tell me that the Bears are going to regress this year, and they're going to be like the Jacksonville Jaguars, who went all the way to the AFC Championship game and didn't do nothing last year. I highly disagree with that statement, and for people who do think the Bears are going to regress, I highly disagree with them. The Bears have a better overall defense than the Jacksonville Jaguars had, and when you come to think of it, if you don't agree with that statement, um, you know, our offense overall was better than that Jacksonville Jaguars offense, without a doubt. You know, you cannot tell me if you only had a choice between Blake Bortles and Mitch Trubisky, you'd guaranteed you'd probably take Mitch Trubisky over Blake Bortles. And we have better weapons than, the Jacksonville Jaguars did last year and even the year they went to the championship game. You know, the only better thing they had of a case was really the running back position. But now with the addition of David Montgomery, it looks like our running back point, our place is solid, as well to go enough with a solid team. And I just think this Bears team is solid all around, and it has good character. I think that's going to be another one of the reasons why the family Matt Nagy has built, and the togetherness and the culture and the solid of the team built around this. Yeah, I still think we won't regress. Now, can you say we would regress by a game, slightly like a game or two by, and have a little bit more losses? Okay, yeah, but as long as we're still making the playoffs, it's still, I think, a good season. And if we can go farther than we do in the wild card game, I think that's even a more successful season. And say if we win it all, that's a huge success. And as a Bears fan, I'll take a Super Bowl. If it even if it is my one Super Bowl in my lifetime of seeing the Bears, I would love to have a Super Bowl this year. And I still think it's possible. We can get to the Super Bowl. I think the NFC is wide open for any team NFC contender to win, because you already know at the end of the day, the team more than likely coming out of the AFC is the Patriots. It's gonna be who's gonna be that team from the NFC that will take on the Patriots and possibly beat them in the Super Bowl. I think the Bears have what it takes to get to the Super Bowl, and it may be asinine to say this, but I think the Bears have what it takes to beat the Patriots on the grandest stage of them all. It's a possibility. Even I always say even if you're a terrible team, there's always a 5% puncher's chance. Against just a dominant team. I could see us doing it. I could see us beating the Patriots, and if we do go to the Super Bowl. We gave them a really good game last year, and it came down to literally a Hail Mary game from tying it away from overtime. I have Patriots fans who tell me, "Oh, you got to stop saying all that stuff," but I'm being serious. Like I said, it's always that puncher's chance, even if it's a better team. Now, I'm not gonna get it as far as that, but yeah. And so to get into this, little game preview, this game preview is gonna be a little shorter than a typical game preview would be, but us against the Packers. I think our keys to beating the Packers is, force turnovers. It's going to be hard, especially against Aaron Rodgers, to force a turnover, especially like get an interception off him. But if we can get the ball, if we can get an interception at a key point in the game, and and take score a touchdown off like an Aaron Rodgers interception, that's a win for us. I think if we can also get pressure on Aaron Rodgers and limit and hold him into the pocket, and really make sure he's not doing the things he typically does that really upsets me, we can beat the Packers, and I see us beating the Packers week 1. And on offense, Mitch Trubisky, don't turn the ball over. Now, I can predict him throwing one interception tomorrow, but it will be great if he doesn't throw no interceptions tomorrow. And I think that last year, against the Packers, I don't think he turned the ball at all against the Packers from what I remember. So that's good. As long as he's not fumbling the ball or, throwing interceptions against the Packers, we're good. And, I say hold the ball long enough to keep Aaron Rodgers off the field. If we get a hold the ball for at least 20 to almost 30 minutes and keep Aaron Rodgers off the field, that will be great. That's a huge win for our case, because that really is the only man that I fear on the Packers. That's Aaron Rodgers. Everyone else on the Packers I could care less about. Davante Adams. I personally think, in my opinion, Davante Adams is a good receiver, but I think personally, Davante Adams, in my opinion, Aaron Rodgers makes Davante Adams better. And it's just one of those cases where Aaron Rodgers is that type of quarterback that just makes his offense better. Now they did have a key subtraction in Randall Cobb, so we don't have to worry about Randall Cobb anymore. Now we do have to play Randall Cobb in the year, but that's when he's on the Cowboys. So yeah. But other than that, I can see us winning this game. Very, you know, by a touch. Actually, I could see us winning by 2 touchdowns if our defense plays really good. And I could see us winning 28 to, you know, 17. I could see us winning like that. Like I said, we have to contain Aaron Rodgers, make sure he doesn't get loose, run away, grab onto him, so we can bring him down for sacks and stuff like that, and stop the run like we typically do. And then just play good defense as well as play really good offense. That means scoring the ball at all chances as we can, and it's got to be at a chance where we can feel comfortable. Now, I think with the Packers, we don't want to get too comfortable. I think one of the problems with last year's team is there was parts of the game where we got a little bit too comfortable. Where it got some teams back in games that they had no business getting back in the games. It was like that Lions game. They almost had a shot to actually come back in the game and win it. Because the defense started easing up and easing up. I want this year's defense to be not so easy up. I want them to be aggressive all the time for the 60 minutes of the game. I want to make sure when we want to step on a team's throat and end them, step on a team's throat and end them. Don't play this conservative crap. Because the moment you play conservative, the moment you play conservatively, and I think this goes for any team in the NFL, but the moment you play conservatively, you have already lost the game. Because all it takes is a bit of momentum from a team to score 1 touchdown, and if you start playing that conservative, type of offense and type of defense, you can end up kicking yourself in the foot and losing the game. It's going to be a big year. It's going to be a test. There's critics that say we won't do good because of our schedule is going to be tougher, but I highly disagree with them, and I think we'll still be a good team going to the playoffs. And I think this team like to do is prove these critics wrong. I hate the fact that we don't get enough media coverage, even though we're a really good team. I hate that they're talking about guys like Aaron Rodgers when he didn't do jack diddly squat the last couple of years. I would like the Bears to get talked about. But then again, at the same time, it's better if we're under the radar. Because then if we're under the radar, these media people won't see us coming. Like I said, most of that goes to Mitchell Trubisky because people don't take him seriously. I take him seriously to an extent. I think he's actually a decent quarterback. He's not as bad as everyone says he is because, for once, you just don't watch him. I think Mitch Trubisky is a pretty decent quarterback. And Bears fans, some Bear fans can agree, he's a pretty decent quarterback. He's not all-time great, or he's not all that good, or he's not something to be out of your seat and watch highlights out of. But, I think he's a decent to good quarterback. I just think more people watch some of his bad highlights than opposed to the good things he can do. And that's just a trend with, players that are typically, scrutinized, or quarterbacks that are scrutinized for not being all that great. You don't look at their good stats, or you don't look at their good plays that they make, but you want to look more on their bad plays and then just crap on them. You can easily tell what is a mid-level quarterback, a high-level quarterback, and a low quarterback. Mitchell Trubisky is in the middle tier quarterback. So, he's he's like that Alex Smith type of quarterback. I think he's decent. And, if he does well this year, he keeps the turnovers to a bare minimum, and he scores more touchdowns and gets us in opportunities to score touchdowns, we can win games. And, I'll be fully confident in him as, the season progresses, and stuff like that. And he still's got room to grow and stuff like that. But other than that, I expect a huge year, another fun, enjoyable, good year from the Bears, us making the playoffs, and, going from there on and I could see us going to the Super Bowl. I'm not going to overshoot things yet, but if we can make an NFC Championship game this year, I'll be glad. But I'm really eyeing for that Super Bowl, and this team is good enough to make a Super Bowl run. With the heartbreak that happened last year, this team can have all the vengeance in the world to be we could have won the Super Bowl we could have went to the Super Bowl last year and won it all. Let's do it this year. And, let's put the NFL on watch alert to make us, don't disrespect the monsters of the Midway. Like I said, Bears fans, the monsters are back. The monsters of the Midway are back. And this year's going to be a good, fun year. So, to all the critics that keep doubting us, keep doubting us. We'll just have to keep proving you wrong. But other than that, for the Bears fans that are ready for the season, like I said, leave a like in that video. Hit that subscribe button if you want to get more Bears content. And also, if you're a Bears fan, alright, if you're an NFL fan in general, put in the comments section, how do you feel like the Bears are going to go or do this upcoming season? I would like to hear your thoughts. So, other than that, this has been Cam for 15. I will see you guys tomorrow, right after the Bears vs. Packers games, to get my analysis of what I thought. So, till then, this has been Cam for 15, and I'm signing out. You guys have a great day.